Alright, so the critical measurement that you want to keep is the one that's flat across the platen. The others are going to be adjustable. You'll be able to swivel. The critical dimension you want to, or the critical thing you want to keep is horizontal across the platen. The others are going to be adjustable. This one will be able to swivel here using this, and then you can swivel here. I can't do it here. You can swivel this way using this one. So those are going to be adjustable. That's not super critical to get those square. This is the one that has to be square to get your bevels to match up. Alright, so I've got that a little bit off right here. I'm going to move this around just a hair. All the weight on there doesn't want it to move. Oh, and it's hitting on my other stuff. Because obviously for my machine, I've used a different mounting system, but the ones that are retrofitting will use this. Okay, this is the base clamp. Then once you get your system, or once you get the mount all worked down to this point, and this is staying square, and this is tricky because as you get more weight on here, this is going to want to shift, slide a little bit. So you'll want to be sure that you clamp that good and tight so that this doesn't sag as you put more weight on it as you start adding these pieces. And before you bolt it down and commit to it, check that and make sure that it hasn't moved and hasn't opened up a gap on the edge of your platen. Okay, now you can see that on mine I've used these square tubings as the reference for the base clamp, and I used a different base clamp on this one. I threw this together last week because I had some knife work that I wanted to get done really quick. I didn't have the new sander running, and I didn't want to mess with the old sloppy tube sander, so I threw this on there, threw this on, and threw another one on over there. And it's been working out really good. I like it a lot so far. It's made this a whole different machine, actually. Okay, so then when you get out here and say this is your tabletop where you want to mount the bracket, let me slide this out a little bit farther so I can get some. There's really not a lot of room on this machine. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to raise this up a bit just so I can demonstrate. Alright, so say now you're at your tabletop, and obviously this will be down lower on most machines. You can mount it like this, and then you would drill the holes in there and drill them through to your table. If this wasn't flat on the bottom, you could use this to do some adjusting by tilting so that your clamp would move forward and backward. If it's not flat side to side, and this is still square, then you would need to add shims under one side. Whichever side has the gap sticking up, you need to add shims under there, enough so that when you clamp it down, that you don't get a pull down of the clamp. Because if you pull down, what happens, say if this side was high, and there was a gap under it, and this side was touching the table, and you clamped it and pulled it down so that it pulled that way as it clamped down, then your whole jig and everything would rock this way, and you'd have one side of the jig lower than the other side, and that would obviously cause problems with your bevels. That's not adjustable out anywhere else other than shimming in the bottom of the clamp. So to get horizontal across here, you need to horizontal and get this shimmed, or get this horizontal with here. That's where this adjustment is. And once you get that set, you shouldn't have to set it again. If you have a machine, and some of them are have that option, you can mount it perhaps on the side of your machine. You can mount it like that. One guy said he was going to mount his under the workbench top. So he was going to go all the way under the workbench top and then mount it back that way and come out and up and over. See how nice that smooth slides. I mean, how smooth that slides. Alright, so that's the basics on how that's going to happen. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I haven't installed on every machine, obviously, but I've installed, there's quite a few people out there that have installed, and we've run into some issues and have overcome them. So I have a few answers that you may not have.